Wonderful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a session of Growth Fridays that is offered to you every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Welcome all. Today we are doing the session known as, Becoming a Master Zoom Host. I have been doing this now for almost 2 years. Definitely heavier in the last year and a half in terms of using Zoom. Majority of what I'm going to be sharing is what I already use, but I am always doing these sessions in order for me to learn. Next Friday and future Fridays, we have the sessions already set up. If we haven't met yet, my name is Brenda Kasuva. I am a real estate educator, heavy on the Maryland side, but definitely do teach stuff outside that is not related to Maryland stuff. Since I do technology, then that will be prevalent for anyone outside of Maryland. QR code is on the right-hand side that you're able to scan if you are familiar with how that works. QR codes is a conversation that I've shared every single time that we need to get comfortable with QR codes because you're seeing them everywhere. They are at the restaurant. They are when you go visit your doctor, even at the airport. So QR codes, you just turn on your camera, phone camera, and you should be able to scan. If you're not yet comfortable with that, then all of the links are going to be found on the chat box. When you visit that website, brendakasuva.com, you will be able to connect with me on social media. You can email me, you can connect with me on WhatsApp. And for those of you who want to donate to the cause, you are welcome to do so as well on the Cash App link that is presented there. And you will see everything that I do on the real estate education. We're now starting to get better at recordings and posting them online. You can find some on YouTube and you can also find some on this particular website. Let's get started to why you are here. You're here because you want to get a little bit better on your Zoom. Majority of you have the free Zoom account, which is proficient because you're still able to have a conversation and get away with a lot. Eventually, like anything else, you might want to consider investing on the paid one. For a while, we got away with whatever Google competes with Zoom, the Google Meet, but even that, they're starting to now have a paid version for that. Microsoft Teams is always another option as well. Today we are focusing on the Zoom. Thank you, everyone. I have stopped sharing my poll and now we're going to get engagement in another way. So I'm showing you how you can get engagement with your participants. Poll is something that you're able to do that's on the paid version, but chat isn't, right? When you are engaging in a conversation like this virtually, it's very hard for you to get that human interaction. So you have to find ways on how to interact. So I'm asking the question that you're going to put in the chat box as a way for me to show you what is possible when you're doing your own sessions. Is this your first time attending a Growth Friday session? You could use this as how normally generic ones that I've used in sessions that, let's say it's a home buyer workshop or it's a home seller workshop or anything else where it's a group and you don't really know everyone, then one question that is always going to work for you could be, where are you joining me from? So you could have a slide and then you're asking people where you joining me from, and then you tell them to go to the chat box. Here's what usually happens. You kind of need to tell people sometimes where to go for the chat feature. So I'm going to do that. You can take the time to just verbalize it. I'm a visual person, so I have it visually as well. So I usually tell people, go ahead in your chat box and type in your answer. Now, let me not assume the chat box is found at the bottom of your screen. It looks like a talk bubble. And when it populates, just type in your answer, hit return or enter, and I will get your answer. Thank you very much. Now, some of you, I realize, are not using a computer, therefore you might be using a phone or a tablet. So it might look a little bit different on another device that's not a computer. So all you need to do is to tap on your screen, and then you will see the option more. It has 3 dots to it. When you click on it, you will see chat, and then you will type in your answer and hit the blue arrow or whatever arrow is there or enter, and I will get your answer there. And then I always, this is just me, you have your style. I always repeat what it is that I want them to answer. So you saw it at the beginning. I went through the steps, and then now I'm reviewing again what it is that I'm asking you, because I only see 3 answers. So that is why I was going to review it again. Sometimes it helps when people hear the question again. So now that you know where your chat box is, the topic today, like we're saying, is becoming a master Zoom host. I don't know what you've done already, so let me build on a couple of things from the beginner level, and then we'll find each other where you can share a couple of things as we go along. What I'm hoping to accomplish is true to this statement. We are teachers and students learning from each other. This is a tool that is going to be changing every so often because a lot of us now are using it. So some of the stuff that I will talk about today, guess what? In 6 months might not be applicable, and you will learn a whole new way of doing it. So just keep that in mind and be patient with yourself. Pick one thing, get good at it, and then start learning the others. I'm going to go through these 3 major things. I'm using first is templates. How can you save time to create templates? And everything that I will start off with is showing you on the non-paid account, or what some of you will label as free. And then we shall go into what is possible when you've paid for it. I naturally paid for it because I do so much with this particular platform. And then we shall go through housekeeping, how to manage housekeeping, because when you're doing these things, you can't see the person sometimes. Most of the times people don't have their video on, so there might be some background noise. You wanting engagement and asking people to turn on their videos, etc. And then engagement in polls is for the people who have the paid account. You will be able to see that there. In order for you to have the best experience, hi Carol, in order for you to have the best experience, it is highly recommended that you download Zoom on all your applications. I got a new computer, and after Microsoft Office was installed, the next thing that I had after, there were a lot of things before that. I definitely had to have my Google Chrome. And then the next thing was my Zoom application. Downloaded in all the applications or devices that you have from your Play Store or from your Apple Store. Definitely download it on your phone and your tablet. You can always go to their website, zoom.us/download. And they have a lot of download plugins. If you use Outlook, you can download the plugin for that as well. Bottom line, download it on all your devices. Now, here's the reason why. You can still have the experience of Zoom by joining it on the browser, but that limits your branding. You're all here, independent contractors or entrepreneurs or business owners, and you're always looking for an opportunity to brand yourself. That is why you need to download the application so that when you're attending, you log in and you're branding yourself with your picture, your name, etc. Pricing wise, free is good. However, you will notice there are limitations always to free. You can only get up to 40 minutes. There are times when they're going to say, hey, Brenda, surprise, you can go more than 40 minutes. However, you see you're limited for 40 minutes. And then when you've paid, I paid the second one, great for small teams, the $150 a year. I'm able to go as long as I want. I don't know who would be going for 30 hours, maybe like a DJ, or if you are doing a family event. So there you have the opportunity to do so. What I like to is that I am able to do 2-for-1, which is I'm doing the Zoom here and I can decide to cast it to my Facebook group or YouTube if I wanted to. That is on the paid feature. So the first thing that you will do when we are done with this session before your next Zoom session is to check whether you have the latest version. Zoom is constantly updated. They have improved on their updates to where when you download the new one, they will ask you how often do you want us to tell you of updates? Do you want it right away, or do you want to wait and then get it and so forth? But before your next Zoom session, then when you open up the Zoom application, which is going to be one of your apps on your computer or your taskbar, on the right-hand side where your picture is supposed to be. So where your picture is supposed to be on the right, I'm sorry. Yeah, for your visual, why did I say left on my notes? Okay, sorry. On my right-hand side where your picture is supposed to be, you're going to click on check updates. So when you open up the Zoom application, this should look a little bit familiar on the Zoom application. Top right, where your picture is supposed to be, you're going to click on the drop down and check for updates. When you check for updates, right now, if you do it, it's going to tell you you might have an update, and then it will tell you you need to finish your meeting before you upload, or rather you download the updates. So every time for me, I check it a lot more than once a month because I use Zoom a lot and I want to make sure that nothing interrupts my session. So I'm always updated, check for updates. Once a month is good, just depends on how heavy you use this particular platform. Where should you be right now? As of yesterday, it was at the version of 5.9.3. That is where they are right now. So definitely that is something that you're going to keep doing, and do the same thing on your phones as well. I realize some phones automatically upload or download stuff for you. Sorry to that. Your phones will download apps for you. Just make sure you are up to date, and that's how you're going to do that, by clicking on the picture profile on the right-hand side. The next thing is, Brenda will not go through everything. When you go to the website, zoom.us, you are able to go to the resources option, and then you're able to find all your questions will be answered there. I'm going to highlight on a couple of times that there'll be times I'll go there definitely to check in what I am doing or what I could do better. Take advantage of that. They have tutorials, they have live training, and also a blog and a frequently asked question spot that you're able to take advantage of. Let's start with a couple of things on your settings. So in order for you to maximize everything that you have, there are a couple of things that you need to check on your settings. This is also applicable to the person who has a free account, which is majority of you. 9 out of 12 shared that you have the free version. The first thing you're going to do to maximize on using this particular platform is your settings. Where can you get your settings? You can go open up the Zoom application and go to where you have your picture on the right-hand side, and then you're able to see your settings. So let me first go there, and then I will go ahead and do it on my browser as well. When you click on your picture, where your picture is supposed to be, and for those who are asking how do I get my picture, I'll quickly go through that. So when you go to settings, it will then give you these options where you're able to go through and see what can I do when people are logging in. What type of reaction skin tone do I want? Do I want a reminder? So here you're just going through this particular list. So let's start with the first one. I am going to log into the website and go through some of these and then repeat them on my slide deck as well. So bear with me right now. I am going to the free version account of Zoom that I have. I am using someone else's account, so you will see a couple of things, and I don't want to change any of the stuff here because I'm using someone else's account. So here, when you log in, so right now, some of you are watching me and you're trying this either on your phone or you're watching me on your phone and you're trying this on another computer. I welcome that. You can always log in from 2 different devices as well. Starting you off on your account, I went to zoom.us, I logged in. Right now I'm logged in on the free one, and you will see on the bottom right, it's kind of telling me, hey, Janet, why don't you upgrade? We're going to give you a discount of 30%. Let's start off with the basics. How do you get your picture on is when you go to log into your Zoom account, and then you go to profile on the left. The first thing as a business owner is definitely your face. So when you hover here is where you're able, there's a pencil. I don't know if it's displaying well on your side, but you will see a pencil, and then you're able to upload the picture that you want. That's the first thing you definitely need to do. The next thing is your name. Take advantage of your name. You will notice for me, now I'll be toggling over between the paid someone else's account and mine. So for me, I have, when you look at my Zoom, what do you guys see? You see Brenda Kasuva, hashtag training with Brenda. All that you can add on your name. So I'm quickly log into my account so that I can show you what I have on mine. So this is what is on mine. I have Brenda Kasuva. When I went to edit, I have first and last name, and then I elected what do I want my display name to be. I believe you should be able to do that on the free one. Let's switch over to the free one, and let me go to Janet's and see. So on the free one, yes, you are. So all of us are able to put definitely first and last name. Display name is where you're going to take advantage of that. You're a business owner, so whatever you want people to see every time you log into Zoom, this is where you want that display name to be. Whatever maybe your nickname is, I selected my hashtag so that whenever somebody's searching for me and they're looking for training with Brenda, that's fine. There's a time that I put real estate agent, you can put realtor. Now, if I pause, if you're going to put a realtor, make sure there's a comma between your name and the word realtor spelled out in capital letters. Take advantage of what you want your name to display when you log into Zoom. Since I teach fair housing and I am a walk-in person promoting fair housing, then pronouns are key for me. That's why I have she/hers on mine. You don't have to. It's an option that you're able to select there. While I'm doing this, let me check in if there are any questions. So we've covered display name. You have all of this stuff, and I'm on the free one. Once you're done, please click save. Oh, Monica, that question always comes up. So the question that I'm being asked, since I kind of planted the seed of the word realtor, how can you have the registered mark right next to it? Monica, I'm going to simplify my life and yours, copy paste it from somewhere else. Because when I start saying use this key, what is it? The combination of Alt and this, the keyboards change so many times that I can't keep track of what keys you're going to press on your keyboard. So I just go online, my dear, copy paste it.
So Brenda, hi, this
Yes.
is Alethea.
Uh-huh,
Question. You were just doing the photo on your Zoom thing.
uh-huh,
So like for right now, I am on here and I'm not seeing my photo, even though I'm off screen. Normally it
uh-huh,
would show my picture like that.
uh-huh.
Why sometimes it do and sometimes it don't?
The only times it will not show, Alethea, is if you're not logged in and using the Zoom account, your Zoom account.
Hmm.
So right
Okay, which
now,
I am actually
Blanca,
in.
yeah, no, you're good. I see your picture. So Blanca,
Oh, it
you're
is there.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Alethea, you're good. Candace, Carol, Roseanne, and Glenn. The rest of us, you might be you might potentially, I don't know where you are, but you might be in a spot where you're just logging in from the internet and you're not using the Zoom icon or you're not logged in. So the only time your picture will follow you is if you're logged in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you, Blanca. So we've covered branding, picture, and whatever you can next to your name. The next thing we're going to talk about is, and probably I should be in, I don't know if Zoom has an affiliate, is on the free account, when you're looking at your profile, you will see personal meeting ID. So on the free one, the personal ID is automatically selected for you. This is where if you wanted people to, start a meeting, you're not really scheduling a meeting. This is like a phone call. Let me put it, it's like a phone call. So you're sharing that link that you're seeing there. On the paid version, so I'll be flipping back and forth as to what is possible on the paid version. On the paid version, always looking for opportunity for you to brand yourself, is for the two of us that have the paid version still on the profile on zoom.us, you're logged in. We've talked about your picture. We've talked about your display name. Under personal, on the paid version, I'm able to use my phone number. How does that help me? Join me on Zoom, meeting ID 410-709-8337. That's easy for me to share. I'm also connecting my phone number. If you have my phone number, we can do a Zoom. Just go on Zoom and we'll start a meeting. This is possible on the paid version. So if you're wondering why you might want to consider, you're able to do that on the paid one. So I will only talk about the paid versions a little bit because I want to make sure I don't turn you off. For those of you who are using the free version, that is all on your profile. When you go to settings, so on the left-hand side of your browser, you're logged in again. I'll keep reviewing. You're logged into your Zoom account online. You're on zoom.us. You're logged in. We've talked about your profile. We'll definitely come back to meetings for your templates. Now we're going through settings. Settings is where we're going to tackle a couple of things. The first thing we're going to tackle is going to be when you are on your settings, when we're talking about housekeeping, a couple of times when people join, there are a couple things that you could have easily set up on your settings. Remember, you're doing this because you're the one who's going to be driving the car. What we're doing here, just like your car, we're making sure that you have gas. We're making sure that your mirrors and all that is set. This is what we're trying to set up first before you start driving the car, where you're going to be what? The host. On your settings, we shall scroll down and you will find a spot that says mute participants upon entry. You need to toggle over to the right. And what that means is immediately when you set up a meeting and somebody joins, they're automatically going to be put on mute. Are there times when technology doesn't work as you planned? Yes, you can always go and mute that person that might have some background sounds that are not welcomed in your meeting. So that's where you're setting it up front for all your meetings. it shall automatically put the person on mute. So you would need to turn that on. If you want to get a reminder for your meetings, you can turn that on. I do, just because I could get sidetracked. So I have that reminder for myself. Let me go to where we are in terms of this particular setting. So I showed you briefly where you can get that. Let me go to the live version and review what I just talked about. I'm logged into my Zoom account. I am going to settings and I'm automatically on the meeting tab and I'm just scrolling down. That's what I'm doing. I'll be checking on the chat in a couple minutes. Bear with me. As I scroll down, yes, there are a lot of things here that I will come back to. Let me start off with, I'm skipping over waiting room. We'll come back to that. But as you scroll down, I'm not going to cover everything. Here's where you're going to see the couple things here that I'm going to just highlight. Mine is turned off. This option here that says allow participants to join before the host. I just like control. That's me. Some of you don't care. If you turn this on, what that means is what? When you set your meeting, let's say you're starting at 12 o'clock and somebody's early and they come in at 11:45, they'll just sit there. They'll be waiting for you. I like it that no, I start and then I let you in. That's just my style, but you have that option there. As you keep scrolling, what else am I going to highlight? I'm scrolling down. Here's where you're going to find mute all participants when joining. How did I get here? I logged into my Zoom account. I went to settings, and then I'm just scrolling down. Let me pause. Yes, Glenn. Yes. Let me make sure, Glenn. Yes, I will. Keep me on track, Glenn. Thank you. So that's mute all participants on joining. The next thing we're going to go through, since I'm here, is a chat. In order for people to correspond with you, then you do need to have this turned on. This is still on the free version. I will tell you when I switch over to the paid. What we've accomplished so far is your profile, your picture, and your display name. We've gone to meeting settings and we've gone through the option of everyone being on mute when they log in. Now we are talking about the chat. So here's where if you want participation via chat, turn that on. And then you will have the opportunity for you to be able to decide who's going to read those messages. Is it everyone? You don't want anyone to correspond to you, though that's a mute point. I don't know why you would turn it on and then you don't want the participants to connect with anyone. I don't know why they have it there. And here's where you can decide, no, I want everything to come to me, or I want everyone to get it. And I want everyone to get it. And right now, if Glenn wanted to chat with Candice, he can. So that's the options there. You will notice for mine, when you're sending your chat, it is all coming to me. And then I am able to see whether it's pertaining to everyone or not. That's just my style. You pick what your style is. However, here you do need to turn it on. That's a message here. You need to turn it on for you to be able to use that feature. And this is on the free version. We've talked about chat. We've talked about mute. This one I mentioned, I don't use it, but you can. Some people want to hear a doorbell, kind of like your house. You want people to knock or ring the doorbell for you to know they're here. You can turn that on if you'd like. Sound notification when somebody joins or leaves, that's an option there. The next thing I'm going to scroll down to is annotation. I'm scrolling through. Again, I am not going through everything. You have the resources for Zoom to be able to go through that. I'm highlighting on a couple of them that will make your meetings a little bit more engaging. We've talked about chat. Now we're talking about annotation. If you want to do what I am doing, then you need to turn this on. Some of you don't want to do that, and that's fine. This is where you're going to turn that on. Where is Brenda right now is in review. I'm logged into my Zoom account, and for today, for the free one, I'm using Janet's account. I went to settings, and then under scrolling down under the option of basic, in meeting basic. We've talked about chat. Now we are talking about annotation. And then whiteboard is just like in school, you have a whiteboard or a blackboard. Obviously, the computer would have to be white. So whiteboard is where if you want that to be turned on, you can. When you are presenting in the meeting, you have the opportunity for you to share the whiteboard and you start typing away. So right now, if I wanted to, this is my whiteboard and I am able to do that because I turned it on. Let me get back to where we are. So that's annotation and the whiteboard. Feedback, questions, what do we need to review? So in review, where we started off with in your settings is we went to turn on the mute. We talked about the reminder if you want to. We went through the chat, turn that on. Who do you want to receive those messages? And then we went through the annotation, screen sharing. Sorry, I forgot to mention that one. That's why I have my deck to remind me. Screen sharing is another one that you might want to consider to turn on. Why? You might have guest speakers who come in and they have their own presentation that they want to be able to control. Therefore, turning on the screen sharing is helpful. I have it as all participants. Some of you might say it's only the host. I have all participants because at any time, should, for example, Dennis say he wants to show me something, I can stop sharing and he starts sharing his screen. So I'm flexible on that in terms of I have all participants are able to share. Obviously, you, the host, will still be in control. We've talked about annotation, turning that on for you to be able to do stuff like this. And then we've talked about the whiteboard. Also, we're going to get into is, okay, somebody asked this question, so let me cover this, is we're talking about engagement, right? So with engagement, we've talked about your name, definitely people wanting to see your picture, your name, we've covered that. We've talked about the chat option. We've talked about annotation. We've talked about sharing your screen, minimizing the background sounds. We talked about the whiteboard as well. Another way that you can get engagement is, again, because people are not turning on their cameras, you're trying to find a way to get them engaged, is the nonverbal feedback. Turning that on gives the people the opportunity or you to participate in telling people, you know what, Brenda, speed up a little bit. You know what, Brenda, yes or no. So when you ask a question, you're able to gauge what it is that you need to do different and or change or do when you're doing your presentation. So nonverbal feedback is available there. And then meeting reactions as well is where you're able to decide, do you want people to be able to have the full deck of emojis or specific ones? And then we shall get into virtual backgrounds as well. So I'm showing you right now on a slide deck, and then I will switch over to the live view. So questions always come up about the virtual background. On the free one, this is where you're able to turn it on, and then you decide, do you want people that are attending your free Zoom meeting to use virtual backgrounds or not? So Glenn, hopefully this answered your question. This is on the free version. I'll show you what is possible on the paid version that I have. And then you have video filters, turning that on, immersive view, turning that on. This is where you're just jazzing it up a little bit when you are the host and you're doing the meeting. I'll give you a snapshot of what that looks in a couple of minutes. So that is the settings that we're going to go through. Let me go to the website itself and see whether I am able to review and see whether there are more questions. Just so far on this, we covered annotation, the whiteboard. I am scrolling down to where we talked about the nonverbal feedback, turning that on and what it offers. And then you have the meeting reactions is going to be here. So that's what we have covered so far. Let me make sure there's nothing. Yeah, there's two more that I'm going to talk about in your setting because there's a lot in here, a lot. So on the free one, after the option for, where am I leading you? Okay, I lied. I'm gonna talk about 3. There's this option. And as I keep scrolling down, you notice now I am under meeting advanced. I'm still on the free version. You have this option here, show join from a browser link. This is where if you have that turned on, you're allowing the person to not use their Zoom application and they can just join directly from their browser. Some people still don't have Zoom downloaded on their devices. So this is a good one, in my opinion, to have it turned on, and I will go ahead and turn it on behalf of the person that I'm logged in as. So that is the opportunity there, which is wonderful. And then the other one is you have the opportunity for you to a disclaimer to show. This is on the, the paid version, which I'll show you in another training, hopefully, we'll see, but I'm highlighting a couple of seeds here. I want to talk about one more thing, and then I'll look at the chat box. I saw it. It was the breakout room. Some people ask about, where do you see the breakout room? Okay, there it is. Ooh, I can't tell you where, okay, I think I can tell you where this is. So as I'm scrolling down in case you lost me for a couple of seconds, is I'm in my Zoom account, logged in on my browser, doesn't matter which one. Once I'm logged in, I went to settings. I'm automatically under the meeting tab. And as I keep scrolling, if I want to, I can click on basic, and it brought me to the basic part. We spoke about chat. There are a couple of things on the chat box I'm gonna look at. We spoke about chat, and as I keep scrolling down on the free one, we talked about screen sharing, annotation, whiteboard, nonverbal feedback, meeting reactions. And then here's where we have the advanced. When I get to the advanced, this is where you're able to turn on breakout rooms on the free one. What is a breakout room? This is a smaller group, as it's saying. This is like you meeting face to face, and you say, okay, we're gonna break into 3s. You 3 here, do this. You 3 here, do this. That is helpful as well for you when you're doing a virtual meeting. So this is where you're able to turn it on. The last thing I'm going to talk about on your setting is your waiting room. I realize I should have done this earlier. Turning this on, your waiting room, is just like it says. You're waiting to see the doctor. You're waiting to get your car fixed. Where you're going to be sitting. So waiting room is where you've started the meeting, but you're not ready for people to join you. So please wait for me in the waiting room. You're able to turn that on. That's a preference. I have that on. So when I start the meeting, I'm just making sure that I'm ready for you. And that's the possibility there by turning it on. That's on the settings. Questions, feedback, comments. We've gone through your settings. I now want to go through the templates because I promised I want to save you time in terms of your templates. We'll talk about the virtual background, Glenn, in a couple minutes, and then Hannah will see about the reports. Let me first talk about what I promised. So the template, in terms of saving time, templates are just like drafts or notes where you're saving time if it's going to be something that you're going to be doing on a regular basis. Take advantage on saving it as a template. Everything that I'm still talking about right now is possible on the free Zoom account. So what is possible? If I'm going to be having a meeting with my sellers every Monday, in order for us to talk about whatever, or I'm going to talk to my buyers every Friday in order for us to talk about whatever. This is where you're able to save the time, or you're going to be doing monthly home buyer, home seller workshops. Now for 30 minutes, I don't know if you'll be able to accomplish that, but I'm not saying it's impossible. So then here's where you're able to go schedule a meeting. So the steps are on templates, how to get it done. The first step is you need to schedule your meeting. Whether you normally go up at the top or you go this one, doesn't matter how you end up there. You're going to schedule your meeting as you would. Your meeting with your title, what time it's gonna be, all that. You're going to fill all that out. And then this is where, Hannah, I'm going to pause because it's here. One way is if you want to get people's information up front is to have them register. So this would be applicable for anyone who's doing like a home buyer seminar, what have you, and you want them to register up front. Then you have that capability to ask people to register. And you can always customize what questions you're going to ask them. So that's in the registration. If you check that off, then that means people need to register before they're able to get the Zoom link. On the free one, it will generate automatically. For the paid one, I can always say, I want it to be my customized meeting ID. As I scroll down, you keep filling out whatever needs to be filled in, and then you save. So I'm setting up a meeting, I'm hitting save. Once I save the meeting, then I'm going to access that saved meeting. And if I scroll down all the way to the bottom is where I'm going to see the option of save as template. If you have the paid account and you've set up polls, that will also save it in your template as well. Once I hit save template, then the next time I'm setting up this email, I am able to pull that up. Let me see whether it helps when I show you again what I just described. I'm going to schedule a meeting. I'm going to fill out whatever it is that I want to have for this particular meeting. You're setting up your meeting. And then I am going to go to save. I'm just quickly showing you how to save the templates. Schedule your meeting, put in everything that you need. And then when you are done, you'll get to this spot. Or when you go to meetings, it will show you your meetings that you have scheduled. When you click on it to access it, scroll down to the bottom, you will see save as template. Once I click on save a template, I save it. Now I have that template. How will I use it in the future? When I go to schedule a meeting, you're still going to pick what date you're going to have that meeting. And then here's where you have that opportunity here. This is always something that we skip. So here's where you have your opportunity to, hey, I have all the stuff that I need, from the description to anything else. I have all that. So I pull that up and I'm able to do the templates. Questions, comments, feedback. So that was templates. Now, Glenn, we're going to talk about virtual backgrounds. So I see that it's a little bit limited on the free version. So Glenn, with your question of virtual backgrounds, let me show you what I have on the paid version. So I know fewer of you have the paid version, but maybe this is going to be the opportunity for you to see whether you want to invest on the paid version of Zoom. So on the paid version of Zoom, in terms of virtual backgrounds, in my settings, I have the opportunity to upload 6 backgrounds, virtual backgrounds for me. And then when I go to my application, so let me show you in my application right now. If I go to my camera, so Glenn, your question was, you want something different to show on your virtual background, right? I think I read that right. So let me see. You want to use your picture as the background, not the pic in the Zoom. Let me see if I'm understanding your question. So I'm in the settings, and you're noticing here, if you're seeing I'm on the, I can't annotate, but you're seeing that I'm on the background and filters. And then it shows me I want nothing because I have a blue screen. If you want to blur, then you're seeing I have the option to blur it. If I want that, I can change it. So Glenn, this is where, for those of you who are wondering about what are they called? Virtual backgrounds, right? You have the opportunity, it might be small on your side, but there's a plus here that I am able to add an image of whatever I want, and then I'm going to make it as my virtual background. How is this cool? What is cool about this is picture yourself talking to a buyer and you're trying to figure out which property maybe they liked. So you upload the pictures of the property and you say, okay, do you like this one? So I'm going to move away. Do you like this one or this one? And you just keep flipping through using virtual backgrounds to, again, engage the person. And obviously brand yourself. I should do a better job of branding myself in the virtual backgrounds, but that is what is possible in the virtual background. Glenn, did that answer your question?
While he's answering that, Brenda, I would like to piggyback on that. Could you also create a frame as a virtual background? That way it's like your frame.
Take it away. So that's
there you
where,
go. Okay.
Alethea, you have presented, you're familiar with Canva. You can go to Canva, and this is a sidetrack and probably a good one for everyone. If this is not your style, then sorry, not sorry. You can always go to Canva, which I talk about. And when you go to Canva, you can just type in Zoom background, my dear, and take it away. Take it away. Do whatever you want here. Do whatever you want here. Let's see whether there are others. Okay, Glenn, then I think we're answering the question that you've asked, right? You can go to Canva and get that done. I'm glad, Alethea, you asked. So that's Canva. We've talked about the virtual background. I talked about templates. The next thing I was going to talk about was going to be, and this will move quick. I know I have 4 minutes. I always want to make sure that I finish on time. Now let's get over the step of, you've done all your settings, you've done your marketing, your branding, you've set up, people can chat, people are gonna be on mute. Let's get you comfortable with what it looks like. Obviously from my end today, what the host is going to see, which is what you want to start doing or continue doing or enhance it, is when you open up Zoom, remember you're always able to invite others. So whatever you're seeing, let me get off camera just so that it's not confusing on my side. Here is, imagine you have started the meeting And in this case, actually, this is where, yes, I started the meeting and then people are coming in. On the right-hand side is where Lisa needs to be co-host. So you've invited Lisa to be a presenter in this particular meeting that you're doing. So then all you need to do is to right click on their name and make them co-host. So that's good. That's a starting point. And then the other thing that you're able to do is where you're able to see the person's presentation. What I'm showing you here is what you're seeing potentially as the host. So here's where we have all of these people are attending. Always your name will show up at the top. You and the other co-host will show up at the top. And then from there, what am I able to do? If I go to participants, so here I'm showing you just a couple of things when you have people attending. If I go to participants, then this is where I'm able to do a couple of things. One, if I, let's say, ask a question of Hannah, and I want Hannah to get ready to speak. And Hannah, I'm gonna try this with you. I can easily, and I'm simulating this as you're seeing it on the right-hand side. When I go to participants, I'm able to click on Hannah, go ahead. Share with us what it is that you like about today's session. So Hannah on her side, she's gotten a prompt of me asking her to unmute. So this is where you can control who's able to speak, and Hannah maybe might have stepped away. So let me try someone else. So, oh, are you there? Yeah, good. So on your side, what did you see?
Oh, it's asking me the host wants me to unmute or stay muted.
Got it. Okay, so this is where you're saying, hey, I want you to be able to speak. Go ahead and unmute. Almost like giving the person permission to speak. You're able to do that when you choose this option. Ask to unmute is where you're getting them ready, and the person can decide whether they want to unmute or not. Thank you for playing, Hannah. The next one is sometimes you want to see the person's face. So you as the host or co-host are able to also ask the person to start their video. And I'm going to attempt to do that with someone. I hope you're gonna be comfortable with that. Let's see. So I've picked someone randomly and let's see whether she got the message. So send it to Jody. And this is where Jody, I asked her, and there you go. Jody is now able to turn on the camera. So this is where you're able to get some engagement. We talked about asking the person to speak, asking the person to go ahead and start video. The last thing I'm going to talk about is, again, housekeeping. All of this is found in participants list. When you go to participants, you're able to do all of these things. Ask everyone to unmute for people to speak. You can also, per the meeting, mute everyone upon entry. And then you can also play the sound if you want, and also disable the waiting room. All of these features are found on the participants option. So that is all possible in terms of you being able to have your housekeeping done. Now, last one is we talked about polls. So it's already 101. So with polls, I can quickly show you, and I know I probably now I'm learning I should table it do it in another session. But one person was asking about poll. So with polls, how you do that is when you set up the meeting, this is only on the paid version, you're able to set up the polls by you creating what questions do you want to ask people during the meeting. So the poll feature is available on the paid version. That was the session today in terms of becoming better at hosting your meetings. Let me see if there are questions or feedback while I check for you, Hannah, your question that you asked in terms of getting what was your question? Who attended, right, on the free one? I am checking that while I see what else is put on the chat box. Any questions that somebody wants to ask while I check out that answer for you, Hannah? Go ahead and speak. Otherwise, hopefully I will see you next week. Hannah, this is where I am. I'm on the free one, and then I went to reports. That's where you're able to get it. Now what we're going, no. So on the free one, this is where we got our answer. So on the free one, no, you're not able to do so. On the paid one, I can get who logged in, as long as they logged in with a Zoom account. If they don't have a Zoom account, that's where you will see iPhone, Samsung, and so on.
If it's a paid account, where should I go to see
Same
the records
place.
or reports? Recording?
No, under the account management reports.
Report.
Yes.
I don't see it. I see account management.
And then reports.
it goes
Thank
to
you,
reports.
Roseanne. You're welcome. Okay, thank you, everyone. So Carol, the virtual background, yes, it's on the paid one. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. Hannah, let me
Thank you,
see.
Brenda. Yeah.
You're welcome. So Hannah, I'm logged into my paid one. So yes, under account management, and you go to reports. It's all there.